Hello everyone, and welcome to Nurse on the Move. With travel nursing comes a lot of different experiences, working state to state, meeting a lot of different people, especially when you're single. So I want to let you all in on a little trip that I took that right now I can laugh about it, but at the time it was not a laughing matter, and it was very much a learning experience when traveling. So when I was transitioning from Sacramento to Southern California, I met a guy. He was very nice, very cool, and we kind of hit it off immediately. But he lived in Boston, and we talked about 2 months before he said that he wanted me to come visit him. During those 2 months, we talked about what he did, if he lived by himself. We had a pretty good conversation. So I was confident that I wasn't gonna go to Boston with a creep. Like, I knew pretty much the gist that he was a pretty good guy. He said he stayed by himself. He said that he planned for us to stay in Boston just overnight and go to New York for the weekend and shop and party, basically. So I was down for the trip. I went, and this is where the story really begins. So as soon as I arrived to the airport, he picks me up in a Tesla. I don't remember him talking about him having a Tesla, but I didn't really question it. We make a couple stops to his friend's house, and then we go to get some food, and then we go to his apartment. So before we get to his apartment, he's like, "Oh, I have to clean up real quick. Give me 5 minutes." And any other time, I'd be like, "Okay, but you knew I was coming." And I was like, "You knew I was coming in town. Why didn't you clean up before I got here?" So he was like, "Real quick, I just have to pick up some clothes real quick." So he parks, and he goes in 5 minutes, comes back out, and like, "Okay, come on, it's cleaned up." So I go inside the back door down to the basement. And as I'm walking down to the basement, I'm like, okay, this is a house, and I'm going down to a room. So you do not live by yourself. That's where the first lie stood. Or maybe the second, because he said that he owned the Tesla. And I later on found out that was indeed a lie as well. Go down to a basement, and this is his room. If you are anything like me, then you are super shocked and super surprised by what I just showed you. I could not sleep. I made sure I sealed up my suitcase because I did not want any bugs to get inside. I didn't know anything at this point. I don't know if you have roaches, because you live in a pigsty at this point. And for you to invite a female over and your place looks like that is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't want to get kicked out, so I didn't say anything at that point. I was trying to stay positive and okay, in my mind, I'm like, "Alicia, we're gonna go to New York tomorrow. Like, we're good. It's gonna be okay. Like, let's get past tonight. Let's get past tonight." This dude had the nerve to say, "I'm Big Spoon, you're Little Spoon. Get away from me. Give me a whole arm's length. Give me a whole arm's length. Like, don't talk to me, don't breathe on me, get away from me." So that was that. That's the first night. The second day goes like this. We woke up, I'm like, okay, let's go to New York. Let's leave. I'm ready to get out of this place. Like, I'm trying to just get dressed and go. I was like, okay, let's go, let's get breakfast, let's go to the mall. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool, let's go to the mall. We go to the mall so he can charge this daggone car that he got. We charge the car, and in my mind, I'm like, we're driving to New York, which is like maybe 5 hours away, and you're charging these cars. So how are we going to make sure there's chargers all throughout this route? Like, what if we get stranded? And I do not want to get stranded with dude, or anybody for that matter. I don't want to be stranded by myself. So I was already feeling kind of uneasy about the whole New York trip. He says he has to make a stop at CVS. So we go to CVS. He hands me $1,000 and he asks me to put it in a money order. What? No, I'm not giving them my ID to do a money order for what? You do your business, handle that when I'm not around, okay? Like, he had the nerve to ask me to do a money order for him. I'm not your girl. I'm your friend, and we're barely friends at this point. It's hanging on by a string because I feel like I feel disrespected for you taking me to your whatever place that you call your home. So I told him, no, I'm not going to give you a money order. That's not what I'm here for. And slowly my mood, I already had an attitude, but I was really trying to be positive. So I just straight up tell him, like, I want to leave. I think I should leave tomorrow or late tonight. He gets upset, like, well, why do you want to leave? Like, what was your point in coming if you wanted to leave so soon? I'm like, at this point, it's 5 o'clock. We haven't even been to New York yet. We haven't left for New York. You don't have your bag in the car. And I just was thinking of anything I could say for him to be convinced that I had a lot to do at home. And he was like, well, do what you want to do then. Do what you want to do. We go back to the car and I was like, can you just drop me off at the closest hotel to the airport? Maybe, and we can, like, let's kick it in Boston for the night, because I refused to go back to that house that you had me in. I just kind of told him about his house. I told him that I was uncomfortable there and how dare him take me there. That was pretty disrespectful to me, for him to even bring me in that environment. So he was like, yeah, cool, I'll drop you off. He drops me off at the closest hotel to the mall that we were at, which is 45 minutes away from the airport. And he drops me off. I take my bags out. He zooms off because he's upset. I go inside and it's an apartment. It's not even a hotel. It's an apartment. So I'm sitting there with my bags in this front lobby, like calling around. Like, I made reservations at a hotel, and this is a hotel that's close to the airport. I booked me a one-way flight back home for the next day. I'll give me a lift to the hotel, get dressed. Hey, I get my nails done, toes done that night. Long story short, well, this is like still a long story long. So I asked the front desk, what is there to do? What's the poppin' clubs? What's the good place to eat? So I got some really good recommendations, and I had a ball Friday night. I went out by myself. I went to a club. It was super fun. I met this girl when I was out to eat. She drove me to the club, actually, after we went out to eat. The next day, I fly out. I spent a night in Boston alone, and I still made the best of it. So moral of the story is, have your own. If you have to get out of a jam real quick, have it to do it. If somebody wants to fly you out, make sure you have enough funds and money to get yourself back and to get a hotel room, and just to make sure that cover yourself, because you always need a plan B. You can never rely on anybody for anything. In my situation, I thought I knew the person more than I did, and I didn't know him as much as I thought I did. So it was definitely a learning experience for me. And guys, if you're watching this, don't ever have a female come into your space if you don't have your stuff all the way together. At least make it comfortable for her. If you know that, you're not in the best living situation, then you probably shouldn't be flying anybody out anyway, but you might want to house them in a hotel or something else. I hope you were entertained by that story, and I hope that I could help you in your future flued out situation. Okay, that's my spill. See you later.